Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another deep dive into the fascinating world of technology and cybersecurity. Today, we're zeroing in on a really critical aspect, one often, called the weakest link. Yet, incredibly, it holds the potential to be our strongest defense, the human element, identity, access, and awareness.
That's right. And it's a really important follow-up to our last conversation.
Yeah, where we explored securing the perimeter, network and endpoint defense. This feels like the natural next step.
It absolutely is, because look, firewalls, advanced detection systems, they're vital, totally indispensable.
Yeah.
But the reality is stark. An attacker can bypass even the most sophisticated technical defenses if they can just, well, steal legitimate credentials.
Right, they walk right in the front door.
Exactly. And that underscores why the human element is so frequently the target. It's often the most exploited part of any system. It's where the rubber meets the road, really.
Absolutely. So our mission today, as I see it, is to unpack how securing this human element, through solid identity management and fostering a really strong security culture isn't just important. It's as critical as building those formidable technical walls we talked about. We're aiming to help you, our listeners, transform that proverbial weakest link into a pretty formidable line of defense, whether you're running a startup in Vancouver or systems in a big bang in Toronto.
Precisely. We're going to dive deep into how organizations manage who gets access to their digital kingdom.
Yeah.
And, crucially, how they make sure everyone within that kingdom is prepared to defend it.
Okay, so for you, our tech-savvy audience students burning the midnight oil coding, enthusiasts tracking the latest threats will be dissecting identity and access management, IAM. We'll hit its core principles like least privilege, role-based access control.
Yep.
We'll cover why multi-factor authentication is just non-negotiable now.
Absolutely essential.
Strategies for handling insider threats and that vital role of building a, quote, human firewall through ongoing security awareness. This isn't just a quick overview. It's a proper deep dive, framed to give you a comprehensive, kind of nuanced understanding of modern cybersecurity's human core. Okay, let's get into it. We've talked about securing the perimeter, right? But what happens when the threat isn't just at the gate, but manages to get through it, maybe using stolen keys?
Yeah.
That's where this whole area of identity and access management, or IAM, really kicks in. It seems like it's more than just a system. It's like fundamental trust online. So boiling it down, how would you define IAM for someone trying to get their head around this?
Well, what's really interesting about IAM, and maybe less understood, is how it's shifted. It used to be seen as this necessary evil, right? Just hoops to jump through. But modern IAM, it's actually an enabler. It helps securely speed up cloud adoption, makes user experiences smoother, even powers things like customer identity, which is huge now. It's way beyond just being an internal IT tool. Fundamentally, though, IAM is that whole framework policies, technologies designed to ensure the right individuals have access to the right resources at the right times for the right reasons. It's the digital plumbing, if you like, that governs who can do what, enabling controlled, secure operations.
That's a great way to put it. Not just a gatekeeper, but an enabler. Makes sense. And that brings us to its core job, really. You mentioned every digital interaction it governs is built on answering two key questions. What are those two foundational questions IAM is always asking?
Yeah, these are the absolute pillars. First up is identity, and that really boils down to authentication. Who are you? It's the process of verifying that a user is, in fact, who they claim to be.
Okay, so proving you are who you say you are, like showing your ID.
Exactly. And historically, yeah, that meant username and password. But as we'll definitely get into, that's clearly not enough anymore.
Right. So authentication gets us past the front door, confirms our identity. But like you said, that doesn't mean we get the keys to the whole building, right?
Not at all.
So what's the critical follow-up question IAM asks once it knows who you are?
Exactly. Once identity is verified, the second crucial question is access or authorization. What are you allowed to do? This process figures out precisely which specific resources, files, apps, servers, whatever that verified user has permission to actually see, use, or change.
All right, so who you are and then what you can do.
Perfect. Think of that office building analogy again. Showing your employee ID badge to security. That's authentication. Verifies it's you. But the electronic permissions coded onto that badge, do they open the executive suite, the server room door, or just the main office floor. That is authorization.
Got it.
It dictates where you're allowed to go. A really robust IAM system is the digital equivalent of that whole security setup, making sure only verified folks get in and they only go where they're supposed to.
Okay, so once we've established who someone is and that they're allowed in the building, the next big challenge is controlling where they can go inside. And in that complicated world of provisions, there seems to be one principle that stands above the rest, doesn't there? What's arguably the most important concept for controlling access within IAM.
You're spot on. You're hitting the absolute core of effective security design here. Arguably, the single most important concept is the principle of least privilege. POLOP for short.
POLOP.
This principle dictates that a user should only be granted the absolute minimum levels of access permissions needed to do their specific job. Nothing more.
Minimum necessary access.
Precisely. It's about being incredibly precise, almost surgical and restrictive with those permissions.
So it's not about what you could possibly access, but what you absolutely need to access for your role. The source gives that retail cashier example. They get access to the till, right?
Yeah.
But crucially, they don't get access to the manager's office or the main stock warehouse, just what they need.
Exactly. That perfectly illustrates having only the least privilege required.
It sounds pretty intuitive when you put it like that, but why is POLOP so critical for cybersecurity? What's the real-world danger if organizations don't follow it strictly?
Oh, this is huge. POLOP is critical because it dramatically shrinks the potential damage, the blast radius, as we call it, if an account gets compromised.
Blast radius, okay.
Yeah, let's go back to that cashier. If an attacker steals their login details, well, POLOP means they can only access the cash register system. That's it.
Right.
They cannot then pivot to access sensitive employee HR records or mess with the supply chain systems because the cashier never had those permissions in the first place.
So it contains the breach.
Exactly. Without POLOP, a single compromised account, maybe even a low-level one, could potentially give an attacker keys to the entire kingdom, a total nightmare scenario. This containment strategy, baked right into the access design, is just invaluable in limiting the fallout from a security breach. It's proactive damage control.
That makes a massive difference, turning a potential disaster into maybe just a localized problem. But, okay, implementing this kind of really granular control for maybe hundreds or thousands of employees, manually assigning every little permission, that sounds like an administrative headache waiting to happen.
Oh, it would be. Absolutely unmanageable, especially in larger organizations.
So how do companies actually scale POLOP effectively without just drowning administrators in permission requests? What's role-based access control, or RBAC, and how does it help?
Right, and RBAC is the elegant solution to that scaling problem. Role-based access control is a super popular, very effective method for implementing least privilege across an organization. Instead of the painful, error-prone process of assigning permissions one user at a time.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Administrators assign permissions to specific roles, predefined roles. Then users are simply assigned to those roles.
Okay, so you group permissions by job function.
Essentially, yes. An organization might define roles like, say, accountant, sales representative, IT administrator.
Yeah.
All the permissions needed for accounting access to the finance software, read-write on budget spreadsheets, etc., are bundled together and assigned to the accountant role.
Okay.
So when a new accountant starts, the admin just assigns them the accountant role. Boom. They automatically inherit all the necessary permissions.
And if they change jobs?
Simple. If that person moves to sales, you revoke the accountant role, assign the sales representative role, and their permissions instantly change to match the new job. RBAC massively simplifies administration, ensures consistency, and makes enforcing POLOP much, much easier and more manageable.
Makes sense, though I guess for really complex situations, you might need something even more granular.
Yeah, that's a good point. For highly complex or dynamic needs, you sometimes see things like attribute-based access control, ABAC, which can factor in more context. But RBAC is the workhorse for most organizations.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. For decades, the simple password was, our main line of defense, our digital key. But everyone keeps saying passwords aren't enough. In today's threat landscape, why? What's fundamentally broken about relying just on a password now?
Well, linking this back to how threats have evolved, relying only on a password today is just dangerous. It's fundamentally vulnerable. A single point of failure.
How so?
They can be guessed. Brute force attacks are still a thing. They get stolen constantly from databases in huge data breaches, and you see lists flooding the dark web all the time.
Right.
Or users are tricked into giving them up through really clever phishing scams or social engineering. The source puts it well. Relying on just a password is like locking your house with a simple latch that can be easily picked.
Yeah, not very secure.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The ways attackers can get passwords have just multiplied exponentially. It's become a really weak link.
So if passwords alone are basically a ticking time bomb, what's the modern standard? What goes beyond just something you know to give us real, robust authentication?
The modern standard, the thing that really changes the game for authentication security, is multi-factor authentication, MFA.
MFA. Heard a lot about that.
As you should. MFA mandates that a user provide 2 or more distinct types of proof verification factors to get access. This hugely raises the bar for attackers. And these factors fall into 3 main categories using different kinds of evidence.
Okay, what are those categories, and why is having multiple distinct types the key? What makes that so powerful?
Right. The categories are 1, something you know. That's your classic password or PIN. 2, something you have. This means a physical object in your possession. Your smartphone is the most common. Getting a one-time code via SMS or an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Duo.
Or those little hardware keys.
Exactly, or a dedicated hardware security key like a YubiKey. It's a great example of something you have. And category 3 is something you are. This uses unique biometric data, your fingerprint, a face scan, maybe an iris scan.
Okay, no, have, are.
Precisely. And the power isn't just having more factors, it's the diversity. Asking for, say, something you know, password, and something you have, your phone. Well, think about what that does to an attacker.
Yeah, it creates a massive hurdle, doesn't it? Even if they somehow steal my password.
Right, they've got the no factor.
They still can't log in unless they also physically have my phone, the have factor.
Exactly, they need both. I've heard stories, too, people practically gluing their YubiKey to their phone. Maybe not recommended, but it shows how crucial that physical possession piece is.
For sure.
So in today's world, implementing MFA across all your critical systems, it is, without a doubt, one of the single most effective security controls any organization or even individual can deploy. It's baseline now. It's non-negotiable.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so we often focus maybe too much on attackers from the outside, hackers trying to breach the walls. But there's another significant threat, often trickier, that comes from within. What exactly do we mean by an insider threat?
An insider threat is a security risk that originates from someone who already has legitimate, authorized access to an organization's systems and data.
So someone already inside the castle walls?
Exactly. This could be a current employee, maybe a former employee whose access wasn't properly shut off.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Or even a contractor or partner with system access. It's a threat that comes from within the trusted perimeter. And that makes it particularly challenging, right? Because they often have existing knowledge, existing access. They already hold some keys. It's harder to spot and can potentially cause more damage faster.
And it's not always the classic disgruntled employee wanting revenge, is it? There's more nuance to it than that stereotype.
Definitely. It's a spectrum. Our sources identify 2 main types, and understanding the difference is key. First, you have the malicious insider. This is the person who intentionally misuses their authorized access to do harm.
Okay, the deliberate bad actor.
Yeah, stealing data for personal profit,
Right.
committing fraud, maybe deliberately disrupting operations, industrial espionage, seeking revenge. They've on harmful intent.
Right. And the second type, the one that's maybe less dramatic, but statistically happens more often.
The second type, and yeah, arguably the most common, is the accidental or negligent insider. This is someone who unintentionally causes a security incident, usually through carelessness, making an error, or simply lacking the right security awareness training.
Ah, the unintentional mistake.
Exactly. Think about employees falling for those really convincing phishing scams and giving up their credentials without realizing it.
That happens all the time.
Or losing a company laptop on the train. Or misconfiguring a cloud storage bucket, accidentally leaving sensitive data wide open on the internet.
Ouch.
Yeah. This really highlights why that human awareness piece, the training, is so incredibly critical. Often the biggest risk isn't malice, it's just human error. Simple mistakes with big consequences.
That sounds like a tough problem. Technology can't completely stop human error, but surely it can help detect these things, especially the accidental stuff, maybe even the malicious actions before they get too far.
Absolutely. Technology plays a huge role in detection. Tools like user and entity behavior analytics, or UEBA, are crucial here.
UEB, how does that work?
UEB systems use sophisticated machine learning, often unsupervised learning, to build complex baselines of what's normal behavior for each user and even groups of users within the organization.
So it learns everyone's patterns.
Pretty much. It's not just flagging a login at 3 a.m. anymore. It's analyzing hundreds of data points in context.
Sure.
Unusual file access patterns, the volume of data being moved, weird application usage, logins from strange locations.
Wow, okay.
It correlates all this information to create a risk score for activities, going way beyond simple static rules.
So it's constantly learning what's normal, and then it spots the subtle or not so subtle deviations. Can you give a concrete example of how it might trigger an alert?
Sure, let's say an employee usually only accesses financial reports during standard business hours, always from the office network IP address.
Okay, normal pattern.
Suddenly, the UABA system sees that same user account downloading huge volumes of sensitive customer data from a project folder they rarely touch. At 3 a.m., connecting via VPN from a country they've never connected from before.
Ah, that sounds suspicious.
Highly suspicious. The UEB system would flag that as highly anomalous, generate a high-risk alert for the security team to investigate immediately. It might even correlate it with other weirdness, like recent failed login attempts or unusual email forwarding rules being set up.
Got it. And beyond UEBA.
Well, thorough logging recording, who accessed what, when, and regular auditing of access to critical data are also absolutely essential. They provide that crucial forensic trail if something does happen, letting you piece together the events.
Okay, this leads us perfectly into building that human defense layer. We've talked tech walls, access controls, but how do we actually strengthen the people inside? What's this concept of the human firewall?
Yeah, the human firewall, I like that term. It's about fundamentally shifting perspective, seeing your entire workforce not just as a potential vulnerability, but as an active, vigilant layer of defense.
Turning weakness into strength.
Exactly. Technology provides the tools, yes, but people use them. People interact with the systems. People are the primary targets for social engineering attacks, like phishing. So this transformation happens mainly through effective, consistent, ongoing security awareness training.
Ongoing is key, right? Not just once a year.
Absolutely crucial. It's about empowering every single individual from the CEO down to the newest intern to be a proactive, informed part of your security posture. Basically, turning every employee into a potential security sensor.
I really like that every employee is a sensor. It's active, not passive. So if ongoing training is key, what makes up a good, effective security awareness program? What are the essential components organizations need to focus on?
A really robust program needs several key elements. Firstly, and maybe most obviously, phishing awareness. Teaching employees how to spot those telltale signs. Suspicious sender addresses, weird grammar, urgent or threatening language, links that go somewhere unexpected when you hover over them.
The classics. But phishing is getting much more sophisticated now, right? With AI helping attackers.
It absolutely is. Which means training also needs to emphasize thinking critically about the context and the source of any request, not just looking for typos. Is this request unusual? Should I verify it through another channel?
Good point. What else?
Secondly, password hygiene. Still important, even with MFA. Educating users on creating strong, unique passwords for different services and strongly promoting the use of reputable password managers makes life easier and more secure.
Okay, phishing, passwords. What else builds that human firewall?
Thirdly, safe browsing habits. Warning against downloading software from sketchy websites, being super cautious about clicking pop-ups or random links you encounter online, understanding the risks of using unsecured public Wi-Fi, basic digital street smarts.
Right.
And fourth, crucially, incident reporting. You need a clear, simple process for employees to report anything suspicious. And this is vital. It needs to be a fear-free process.
Fear-free. Why is that so important?
Because if people are afraid they'll get in trouble for clicking a link or losing a device, they won't report it. They'll try to hide it.
And then it's too late.
Exactly. A quick report of a suspicious email, an odd system prompt, a lost phone, even if it turns out to be nothing, that quick report can be the absolute key to stopping a major breach before it escalates. It turns an employee's observation into actionable defense intelligence.
That makes total sense. Create a culture where reporting is encouraged, not punished. Okay, so we know it needs to be in the training, but how do you make it stick? How do you make it practical? Move beyond just boring lectures or click-through slides. What's considered one of the most effective tools for this?
Yeah, moving beyond the check-the-box training is critical. And one of the most effective, widely adopted tools for practical training is the use of simulated phishing attacks.
Sending fake phishing emails to your own employees.
Exactly. The security team crafts safe, fake phishing emails that mimic real-world threats, fake invoices, urgent password reset demands, package delivery scams, you name it. Then they send them out. The results show who clicks the link, who might enter credentials on the fake page.
And that gives you real data on where the vulnerabilities are.
Precisely. It provides a powerful, quantifiable metric of the organization's actual susceptibility. It's not theoretical anymore. It's measured.
That's brilliant because it shows you exactly who needs more help, right? Rather than a blanket approach.
You got it. The data allows for targeted follow-up training, specifically for those individuals or maybe whole departments who struggled with the simulation. It ensures continuous improvement where it's needed most. It makes the human firewall stronger iteratively. It turns security awareness from just a yearly lecture into a practical, measurable, ongoing process of testing and strengthening.
Okay, this has been a fantastic deep dive, so let's try and bring it all together. From authentication methods like MFA to access control like POLP and RBAC to dealing with insiders and building that human firewall, what's the single overarching key takeaway? How do we effectively manage this critical human element in cybersecurity?
I think the ultimate takeaway, the thing everyone needs to remember, is this. Yes, firewalls, antivirus, intrusion detection, all that tech is absolutely essential. We need it. But the security of any organization, at the end of the day, fundamentally rests on the people within it.
People are the core.
They are. And managing that requires a robust identity and access management IAM program. That's your foundation for controlling the human element. That IAM program must be built on that unyielding principle of least privilege. Give people only what they need.
Minimum necessary access.
Implement that efficiently, usually through role-based access control for scalability, and secure the front door authentication with the non-negotiable protection of multi-factor authentication.
MFA everywhere.
Everywhere. Critical, absolutely. Then add proactive strategies to manage insider threats, recognizing both the malicious and the accidental kind. And perhaps most importantly, invest seriously in continuous engaging security awareness training. If you do all that, an organization can truly transform its workforce from just being a potential attack surface into arguably its greatest security asset, that resilient human firewall.
A proactive defense layer.
Exactly, because remember, even the most advanced, expensive technical defenses can be completely bypassed by one stolen password or one single unsuspecting click on a malicious link. The human element isn't just a factor, it's absolutely central. It's the linchpin of modern cybersecurity.
Wow, well put. Today, we've definitely navigated the critical landscape of the human element. We've seen how a strong IAM program built on POLP and RBAC, fortified with MFA, is just fundamental. We explored the complex world of insider threats, malicious and negligent, and how tech like UEBA can help spot those anomalies. And crucially, we've hammered home the indispensable role of that human firewall, built through continuous practical security awareness training, making every employee a vigilant defender.
It's a holistic approach.
It really is. Not just a best practice anymore, but an essential, constantly evolving part of any serious cybersecurity strategy. So, looking ahead, join us next time as we delve into another absolutely crucial area of digital defense, protecting data with cryptography. We'll explore the fascinating science and, really, the art of securing information itself, wherever it lives or travels.
That'll be a good one. Encryption is key.
Definitely. Okay, thank you everyone for diving deep with us today. If you found this discussion insightful, and we hope you did, please remember to subscribe to our channel, Tech AI and Beyond, for more comprehensive explorations into the cutting edge of technology. We really appreciate you tuning in and engaging with us, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon.